Hi, I want to do a demonstration of how I paint autumn trees. I like autumn trees. I like blue trees in the distance, and I did one yesterday morning. But perhaps I don't explain it in too much detail. But since I paint wet in wet, I'm going to wet this bit of Fabriano. And now this will expand. And I just want to put a simple sky in so that I can dry it and then go in with some trees examples. So a bit of sienna. And a bit of it's a bit of cloud. Good cloud colour is light red and ultramarine. So just on the blue side. And then it's a bit darker. You can make your grey clouds out of burnt umber and ultramarine, Payne's grey and alizarin. Remember, with clouds you do need to try to get some perspective in them, and they get usually lighter as they go to the distance, but it depends what sort of sky you want. There's a bit of blue in that somewhere. Okay, I'm going to dry that now. That'll fix these clouds and stop them from going too far down the page. So take your headphones off or mute your sound. Right, I'll just reclip. This Fabriano is £130. It's nicer, obviously, than some of the more robust papers, but it's ideal for this sort of work. Right, okay, now I'm going to put a bit of a foreground in, because I don't just want little trees dotted here and there, so we'll have a bit of sienna, raw sienna, burnt sienna, a bit of blue. And as we come forward, there's a bit of nice greeny colour. Always go for variety rather than monotonous flat washes, but I'm only speaking to if you're a beginner. All this business about starting with a dark colour at the top and graduating as you come down, we don't really use that a lot. We use it in bits. Clip again. I'll keep the paper as flat as possible. Right, I'll give that another dry, so mute. Right, now I'm going to put in some blue background trees, and the blue I'm going to use is Payne's grey and ultramarine blue to give a bit of distance. So this will be some perspective. So I'm using a sable for this. Be careful it doesn't flick. Leave the sky holes. Needs to be enough holes for the birds to fly through. Okay, so We can put a bit of shadow in and there, just to clean it up. I've got the too floaty. Let's go a little bit darker now. Let's go over the hill. Right, so that's just a, well, this is not a very rough paper, but with the rougher Bockingford, Saunders, Archers, you can scumble over the high spots and get a much more open lattice work of twigs. This represents twigs and branches and distant shapes of trees in winter or autumn. So I'll give that a dry and we'll carry on. Right, mute. Right, now I'm going to go across there with some more open, warmer. I was looking at the leaves in London this morning, or the autumn leaves are still on the tree, and many of them are a sort of a yellowy colour. They don't really go to like crimson, really deep crimsons, but they've got a lot of burnt sienna in and yellow. So we'll build one up here. Okay, so now we can put in some darker siennas. And we'll come down here into the shadow area. And showing a few leaves on the ground, and as that dries we can put in some I use the hake. I like the hake, it's my sort of brush, and we'll put in a bit of a grey chunk. I will just get that in there, and you'll find that you don't want to put too many branches in. It's a bit wet, but just a few. Well, you can finish it with a vigour. Right, that'll do, because I'm going to go over that again. That's we can put a bit of a pine tree in with a bit of blue, yellow. Right, let's come in with these are the evergreens, a bit blue, just like that. In the distance. Okay. I'm waiting for that to dry, because I want to go over that again. Cover up some of that, that's going to be a bit wet. Right, and we'll put another see if we do one with a hake, or a couple. So we're just going to a bit of background. Just put a corner of the hake. Whatever brush you're happy with, you can use, of course. Bit of shadow. Right, now we need to put in some meat on here. I'm going to dry that, so mute. Right, back to the sable. Drink my tea. I keep letting them go cold. Right, so just a bit more stronger mix of that yellow and sienna. That's burnt sienna. And we'll just go back in with now we had a bit of burnt umber for the darker leaves. Okay. And we'll go over that, the other one. Just my way of showing shadowy areas on the leaves. A bit darker with that. You can use a touch of Payne's Grey, but keep it on the warm side. This is just sort of, this is darker leaves. This is, the brush is very dry. Right, now we're just going with a bit of burnt umber and a bit of ultramarine. Just adding some okay, let's go a bit heavier here. Just using the points of the sable. You don't want to put all the branches in, just a few. Right, I just want to put some darker browny leaves on here. Right, so that's a couple there. We'll just lose the base of this in some autumny colour leaves. Okay, so let's put in more of one that's lost its leaves, lost a lot of its leaves. So just a bit of Payne's Grey, a bit of burnt sienna, and let's do this one here. Okay, so we're going off in the direction down the hill, so let's put in slightly bluer. Okay, and we'll put in a bit of palette brown. I'm going to start using the mop more often. Just add just a little bit of detail, and you don't need much. A little goes a long way, and we can just warm up some of that in there. Just let that blue moderate a little bit. So there we are. A very simple demonstration of trees. They're not great, but this is a conker tree. That's an oak tree, but there'll be more wiggly, and that's just distant trees. We can get a better okay, so that is another. We'll put a little bit of warm in there. So the blue background is showing through, so we've got a bit of perspective. Maybe could darken that a little bit, but I won't. I'm going to leave it at that. I'll put it in a mount. Now, it's not a demonstration of a landscape so much as just my way of doing simple trees the way I do. Because I know if you, as beginners, you struggle with getting realistic trees. I wouldn't say that it's too realistic, but we'll. So just a simple demonstration for you to get your teeth in. So I'll alter the angle of this, then you'll be able to see it full on. Okay, calm down. So a demonstration of autumn trees for a Saturday morning. That's all I'm going to do this weekend. Thanks for watching. I hope you've learned something from that. Keep it simple, very simple. That I should have done a bit better, but I use larger brushes. But the idea is there. Simple statements, simple masses. Blue to give the aerial perspective, and then just these little trees here, and a bit of detail in the foreground. Okay, thanks for watching. Bye bye.